Tim, welcome back to CES.
Thanks, Ian. Glad to be here.
And we're going to repeat our video that we did just fooling around last year and looking at stuff. So you've got some new stuff here. What are you showing?
Yeah, so today we've got the Sierra Edition Media Center. It's a brand new media center from Niveus Media. It's actually a little bit of a different focus than our normal media centers, in the sense that this is focused on home builders. So in the sense that you getting that?
Yeah.
We wanted to design a server that would be able to move in on day one to a home, instead of normally how we all live, where it's retrofit or a custom installed channel come into a home and add on a model. This is something that's going to go in on day one, like a water cooler.
Oh, so yeah.
So it really brings about that idea of the home server, right? And so for Niveus, we've done a number of things to really address some of the concerns of home builders around reliability, size and form factor, and also some new things around services.
Right. So what have you actually? So what's the difference between this and, say, you know, a Denali or one of the other products?
One of the biggest things is power consumption. So for folks that are technical to understand some of the terms I'm using, but this is actually mobile on desktop. So we took mobile processing and brought it down to a desktop level from a power consumption level. And so a Denali system will maybe consume about 200 watts at normal load. This product consumes about 45 watts. So from a home builder, from an energy conservation standpoint, it really brings the power consumption down. That's one anecdote. The other anecdote is where Niveus looked at this and said, all right, traditionally we have these high performance systems that create high heat with all the performance processors in there. How are we going to get that heat out without throwing 30 pounds of metal at it? If you know our other systems, 30 pound, 60 pound products with, you know, a lot of mold, extrusion, aluminum, and it really adds to the effectiveness of getting heat out. But it also adds to the cost and the weight. On this product, because the mobile processing is so low as far as thermal goes, 30 watt processor, we're actually able to keep the heat way down. And because of that, we're able to use fans for the first time and spin them so low that they're at the same noise level as our other products like the Vernier.
So what kind of things are you going to use that for? Are you going to put your tuners in there, or are you going to use it for storing media around?
So good question. So another challenge Niveus faced was, how does Niveus build a more entry-level server? Right. The last thing we want to do is have customers buy a product, and albeit entry-level, and say, well, I know why it's entry-level. The video is not as good as the Vernier, or the audio is not as good as the Denali. So what we did was we tried to say, we can't compromise on AV. Niveus is known for really good audio-video quality, ISF certification. What we can do is modularize and pull out some components. So you're probably familiar with the way we do cable card at Niveus is we have a separate unit, a Niveus digital cable receiver. And if you've taken a look over at the Sierra, and you remember that product, they actually look quite familiar. That's because they're using the same chassis and the same case.
Yeah.
And we designed that from day one so that you could have a stacking unit. And if you see the two there, one of those is the Niveus digital cable receiver, and the other one is Sierra. So it's really no different than traditional stacking stereo components, where a customer will put a tape deck, a CD deck, and a receiver. And so again, the cost and heat associated with those cable card tuners is no longer in the Sierra, burdening the price point or the size restrictions. And now the customer can add that on whenever they want to.
Right.
Storage is no different. We have, people know we have a terabyte and 3 terabyte storage server, similar to Windows Home Server. It's actually using all of our own software. And that product is also a modular component. The storage we'll have on Sierra is 250 gigs and 500 gigs. Plenty of storage for someone to get started.
Yeah.
Obviously not as big of storage as we do on our other servers, which go as much as 3 terabytes of internal storage. So those were a couple ways we could kind of pare it down. We also don't do analog, multi-channel analog out. We have 2-channel analog, and on this one we're saying the audio is a digital out, because a lot of customers at the entry level tend to rely on the receiver to process the audio signal anyways.
So if you've got an AV receiver, you can just hook it up digitally to that.
Yeah, actually what's really neat about this product, and again, think of this as more entry level, these are not folks that have the biggest, beefiest home theater, right? Because we have other products that serve that market. You can plug this product in with pretty much just, well, if you really want to limit it, a power cable and an HDMI. It really is that dream of almost just 2 cables to do it. We obviously generally recommend wired Ethernet, but this product will have a SKU that supports wireless N. So for the first time, Niveus is really starting to embrace some of the higher speed wireless technologies. Again, for those locations where you know, Ethernet cables is not practical. Obviously, with new home construction, it's pretty easy to put the Ethernet cables, but you never know where the customer might move if they have move the server if they have a couple of these in the future. So.
So it's a whole new product line then, really, for you guys.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's named Sierra. It is part of our Summit series, but instead of our traditional custom install business, where it's retrofit and they'll come in and they'll do a remodel and they'll buy a couple servers for this home. This is a volume product, so we're only selling it to volume integrators that work with the national home builders, and also for MDUs. It's not all just multiple dwelling units. It's not just single family dwelling residences. There's a lot in the U.S. now, in Miami, Las Vegas, of these high-rises going up, and so there's high-profile customers that are saying, shouldn't technology be built in on day one in the home? And so it's an exciting trend we're seeing. And if you look at the home builder market in the U.S., it's just as challenged. Well, I don't know how it is global, actually, but in the U.S. market, it's challenged right now with mortgage rates and all of that.
Yeah.
Developers are finding technology as a way to move people in. Say, there's a free plasma and server with every home, sign on the dotted line. And so that's one trend we're seeing as well.
I guess like central heating and all those kind of things get fitted, kitchens, and you get your cooker in there. So why not technology?
Yeah, I think the analogy we use is media management is the hot app today.
Yeah.
People are willing to pay down the money to have a server in their home to manage music, photos, television recordings. But obviously today and tomorrow with other third-party applications, you can add home automation, home monitoring with security cameras, conservation of your own home utilities. There's a number of things that truly drive this as that server water cooler. It's in this, I like to just say it's the brains of the home.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt if homes are going to be smart, there needs to be a brain. And our desktop PCs, while multi-purpose and powerful, are not a brain. It's something that we've used in too much of a generic purpose. This is a dedicated server.
Yeah, it's a great idea. So I think we'll go and have a look at some of the extenders now then.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's head over.
So what have we got here?
So over here, it looks like Samsung's come out with a new extender, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed with it. One of the things we look at in the high-end custom install channel, as well as Niveus included, is ways you can really get extender to work with a number of different displays. And folks are probably familiar, Niveus launched their own Edge extender, really unrivaled 1080p performance to match the exact same fidelity of experience you get on the primary server. But I'll be honest, it's a set-top box. It's in the same chassis as our Rainier. It's 30 pounds. It's a high-performance hot rod, if you will.
Yeah.
That's not going to work for everybody. It's not going to work even for me in every room of the house.
Yeah.
So for some people, they're going to want a much smaller. I think Microsoft called this a backpack device. And so I was really impressed with these, and I'll probably be picking one of these up for my bedroom. Something where there's mounting brackets, and while I didn't make this thing, so I'm just telling you what I think.
Yeah.
My understanding is they have some mounting brackets so that anybody can take it on any TV and use the VESA mounts, VESA mounts on the back of standard. There's standard 4 screw holes on the back of TVs. Pretty much backpack it on there, and you've got a really seamless kind of extender experience.
Now, did you know that I think the Samsung one only works with certain models of Samsung TV?
That's not true. Who told you that?
No,
is that true?
That's true, yeah.
Well, if that's true, I'm not buying it then.
So
now, is that really true?
That's really true, yeah.